Hi everyone! Recently, I designed this Mini Greninja. This is a Pokemon, and it's pretty well known. And most of the other videos are really hard, so I designed this little one. It is missing some details, but it's pretty cute. And if you control its tail, it can kick. And you can give it little weapons that you can put in these pockets. This is a relatively simple model. If you want to fold it, let's begin. Alright, here I'm using a 1x2 sheet of commie paper. One side for the color and one side for the head and all the white parts. So how I made this was I basically just took a square sheet of paper and split down the middle. And this is what I got. We're going to start by making a 8x10 base. So let's fold it in half, like this. Make sure to fold very precisely and crease sharply. And then now fold down. Turn over and do the same. And now unfold. And then let's fold this edge to the first crease. Just like that. And then fold this back. And do the same thing here. Fold to the first crease. And then flip it back. Then now bring all the layers to the center. So you have this. Now let's flatten the paper out completely and then fold in half the other direction. And then fold to the top. Turn over, do the same thing. And let's unfold all of this. And then now, let's fold this part to the first crease. And now fold it up to here. and then fold, turn over, and then fold this part up to here. Now, what I just did was divided this part so that I have 5 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're not going to use these. So now, let's tear this part off since we don't need it. What you're tearing off is this small section and the last section. Just like that. And let's keep this part later for the tongue. Alright, and now let's finish up the grid. So let's fold the top edge to the first fold. And then fold down like that. So what we just did was make this part. And then I'll bring this part down. And then bring that part down to the last crease. And then fold the last part up. And then divide it down. Like this. Now let's turn to the non-colored side. And then fold diagonally like this. So you just bring the top edge to the vertical edge. Unfold, and then do the same thing this way. And now let's make the water bomb base. Just like that. And then now fold these two corners to the top. Just like that. And now let's unfold that. So our paper looks like this. Now we're going to have to create some folds down here. So let's first fold over this way. We're only going to crease 2 of the grids. Like that. And then do the same thing here. And then now, using this intersection point, let's fold this part over to the center. And let's crease only to here. And do the same thing here. Fold to the center and crease only to the point. You're now ready to collapse things. So let's fold zigzag using the pre-existing creases. Like that. And then turn over. Now we're working on the bottom side. This is our top side, and this is our bottom. So let's fold this using the creases. And pleat it in like this. And same thing here. And now on this side, let's fold the same thing like on the bottom. And except on this side, it's going to be different because we're going to poke in here. And then poke here. Same thing here. And then back here. So it's like this. And let's do the same thing on this side. So the paper will finally lie flat. And now fold in half like this. And let's work on one side first. And then for this side, we just do what we did on the other side. So it's like this. So we just started out here. And then folded it in using the creases. So we have our base. Like that. And now let's start working on the head. So let's open up here. And then fold along this diagonal like this. And then flip this flap over and do it the same thing here. And then now fold this flap up. And then now fold this part back down. So it's like this. And now unfold the whole thing in half. And then let's fold these flaps up. And then unfold them. And now fold it to the creases we just made. And unfold them. And now we're gonna flip it around. So let's come into here. And then poke behind. And then wrap the paper around. Using our creases. And then fold it up like this. Same thing on this side. Like that. And then now for the middle flap, let's just reverse it. And then bend it a little farther back, like on a real Greninja. So it's like this. And then of course, now let's just bend these parts down a little bit. So it's like this. Now let's make the face. So we're going to fold from this, we're gonna start a crease from this corner, like this. And we're gonna fold this edge to the top. Like this. And then I'll unfold that. And then let's reverse it in like this. And then now comes a little bit of a challenging step. We're going to reverse the flap so that it has a white color like this. So let's take this out now. And then fold the first layer. And you can just bend it in here. Fold it up to the top edge. And just, since this part won't lie flat, just crease it in to the pocket. And then now flatten like this. Turn over and let's do the same thing. And for this part, let's first unfold it. So you can do the same thing on this side. And then now flatten it both ways. And now let's fold both the same. And then now here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna fold both of them, and then the paper is gonna curl inside like this. So it makes your paper look like this. And then now, use the crease we made previously to reverse in. Like that. So here is our head. And if you want, you can lock the front. So it stays put. Now let's work on the rest of our body. Let's first start with the tail. Let's fold this flap up and in like that. And then bring it back out by pinching here. And then making these two sides perpendicular. Like that. And then if you want, you can thin the tail into the water drop shape. And then let's fold the leg out. And then let's make a rabbit ear fold. Comes like this. And then do the same thing on this side. Like that. And let's do the same thing for the arms. And then now let's finish up the feet. This is really just a pinch crease. And then now, finally for finishing up the hands. Let's open to any of these, like this, and then squash it into a square shape. And then now, fold the flap up to color change. And do the same thing here. And now just shape things the way you want. And now we're ready to make the tongue. Now we're going to use the paper that we tore off previously. So So let's fold this down, then fold it back up. Like that. Then fold it back and forth. And let's tear it off. I'm going to turn it this side. It's okay if there's a little bit imperfection. So what we're going to do, like as seen here, we're going to try folding your worst side, because that way it's going to be hidden. Fold it so that these two lengths are equal. So this length and this length are equal. Of course, if you want, you can use a pink paper to fold the tongue. And then now, let's take your Greninja and then tuck the tongue into one of the pockets, like this. And then now fold it over. And then at the back, just crimp it like this. And then put it into the pocket. And now use your fingernail to kind of make a reverse fold. Like that. And then round the end of the tongue. And give it a curve. And here you have it. It's a Greninja. And if you still have the other half of your paper, you can make another one with it. And I guess see you next time.